Hey gang, Michael Lush here. What you're about to find out and what I'm about to teach you is how to pay your mortgage off using a simple credit card. Yeah, I said it. I'm going to teach you how to pay your home off in a fraction of the time by using a simple credit card to change the interest computed and ultimately charged, thus decreasing your term significantly. Now, what I'm going to show you is a little bank secret. It's a known trick to pay your home off in 5 to 7 years on your same level of income and then truly start building wealth, because when you're debt free, it's a lot easier to start building a net worth. And when I show you this, it's literally been under your nose. And it's been under the American public's nose for over 100 years. But first things first, why are you here? Have you ever wondered what life would be like debt-free and to live a life not bound by financial burdens? Are you tired of surviving and not thriving, but feel you need to catch a big break to fulfill your lifelong dreams? Then I promise this technique will eliminate your stress and you'll begin to take control of your life. You're here for a reason. I'm going to show you a solution. So who is this for? This is for homeowners or those that want to be homeowners but do not want your debts to dictate your flexibility. Ideally, a first lien position home equity line of credit, or a HELOC, is the best tool for the job, but some folks just can't qualify for a home equity line of credit. So I'm going to show you an alternative route. Do you have sufficient credit and discipline? Although this is not a magical pill to becoming debt-free, you'll need discipline over your budget to accomplish this feat. And are you cash flow positive? So what I mean by that is, do you make more money than you have expenses? Do you have more money coming in than what's going out? How is this different? This is not a HARP loan. It's not a streamlined refinance nor any other type of traditional mortgage product. But it is using a product that banks have had for decades, a simple credit card. It's a simple financial tool used by wealthy individuals and corporations to build empires, a line of credit, simple interest line of credit. That is the most efficient way to finance anything, whether it be a car, student loans, and even a home. This is a simple cash flow strategy that's not taught by banks, bankers, or loan officers, and for that matter, even colleges. Why? Because they'll lose money, your money. And Henry Ford said it best: if people understood the banking system, there would be a revolution before morning. So who am I? Who's this guy you're listening to? Who's this dude, Michael Lush? Well, I'm a banker, lender for 14 years. And currently, I'm Director of Product Development for one of the fastest growing banks in the United States. I've closed thousands of mortgage transactions, sadly. Despise non-leveraged debt. I can't stand non-leveraged consumptive debt. What I like to do is take and show folks how to use consumptive debt and turn it into productive debt. And we'll get into that later. And I'm also a proud father and husband. And I've done a lot of things right. I was awarded a full scholarship to play college basketball. I overcame life-threatening illness and I bounced back. I worked hard for my family and rose up the corporate ranks fast. Always had a heart for helping and serving others. And I married up big time. But I've also done a lot of things wrong. I bought lots of luxuries, liabilities, and debt. I worked way too much. I refinanced my home numerous times, chasing low rates, thinking I was ultimately going to save money, but in the end, cost myself and my family thousands of dollars. And I didn't invest. In 2005, I even refinanced my home equity line of credit to a mortgage. And here I am teaching folks that a mortgage is bad and that a home equity line of credit is good. And I did the complete opposite back in 2005. Now, after doing this for 14 years, I discovered I was the rat on the wheel. I discovered I wouldn't be debt-free for a long time, or if ever. I discovered I would not be able to retire or become wealthy maintaining the status quo until I stumbled on top of something truly life-changing. And I discovered this the hard way. What you're going to get is the cheat sheet, and you're going to get the easy way. The hard way is financing debts on long-term installment loans with low rates and low payments. Make minimum payments, for instance, on a 30-year mortgage, and give the bank my savings at 0%. The easy way that I've learned, well, first let's talk about this. Why am I going to let the cat out of the bag? As Martin Luther King says, the time is always right to do what is right. And my life focuses on 4 main principles: faith, family, finances, and freedom. Morally, I can't keep this a secret, and I've got to right the wrong one family at a time. And I've been blessed, and now I want to bless. I want to transform lives. And knowledge truly is power. That's not cliche to say. It truly is far more wealthy than all the money in the world. And I can't take credit for this, and I didn't develop this strategy. In fact, it's been around for decades and very popular in other countries. And I've been implementing the strategy for 37 months, and my mortgage balance is plummeting fast. I'll be debt-free in 9 months without making more money, cashing in my retirement, kids' college fund, or sacrificing our lifestyle. However, I used a home equity line of credit, but that's okay. A credit card computes interest just like a home equity line of credit does, but with an added bonus, 0% interest. Sound too good to be true? It's not. It's a simple math and cash flow adjustment. Now, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not any one of those types of programs. And in fact, it's going to take you years depending on your income and discipline. But it will take decades sooner to get there. And if you do nothing, then you can expect nothing. Now, we've all been deceived. And what you're looking at is a mortgage, a traditional mortgage amortization schedule. And take a look at the payment column here, $1,297.20. What does that add up to? In just 6 months, that's $7,783.20. But what did the balance do? It dropped $1,000.47. If you're lucky, some folks see far worse numbers than this. So again, a mortgage is a contract where the game is fixed. There's a winner and there's a loser. And I can guarantee you, you're not the winner if you're on a mortgage. Now, who's really winning? Anytime you want to find out who's winning, just follow the money, and that'll clearly show you who's winning. So what you're going to be looking at here is a mortgage, a $250,000 traditional mortgage. And I've set up 2 options here just to demonstrate how time is one of the components that's also one of the most important components of financing real estate. And I've got a 30-year and a 15. So you're going to pay far more than the home will be worth on any one of these options. So as you can see here, with a 30-year term, your payment's going to be $1,266.71. And when it's all said and done over 30 years, if it's 30 years, and you don't refinance and chase those low rates like I did, you're still going to pay $206,000 of interest. So your total all-in is $456,000. So again, you got to ask yourself a question. At what point is my $250,000 home going to be worth $456,000? It may never be worth $456,000. So that's what we have to do as Americans, is think about the total all-in price of what we're purchasing, not just what our monthly budget is. Now, on a 15-year term, absolutely, you're going to pay a lot less interest because the term is shorter. Now, most of us know this. Again, your payment goes up to $1,912, but your interest is more than cut in half. It's $94,246. Your total all-in is $344,246. So again, you have to ask yourself a question. When is my $250,000 house going to be worth $344,000? Now you're in the realm of reality and possibility. That especially in my neck of the woods, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, that could definitely happen in 15 years. If we don't have a market correction, which I do think we're in a position to see that in the next 12 months, where the country will probably go into a recession. I mean, let's face it, we're $19 trillion in debt. But again, with shortening the term, you're going to pay a lot less interest. But you have to ask yourself, do you really want to pay almost $100,000 of interest? Of course not. Now, that doesn't even take into account mortgage insurance, which would further inflate the cost of borrowing. So basically, you don't own your home. You're just renting it from the bank. And now you know why the banks own all those tall buildings. Now, I know I just mentioned mortgage insurance, so I'm going to do it again. Mortgage insurance is what you have to pay when you have less than 20% to put down when you're buying a home, or you have less than 20% equity when you're refinancing. FHA has 2 forms of mortgage insurance. They have upfront, which is 1.75%, and they also charge monthly mortgage insurance, which is 85 basis points or 0.85%. VA has up to a 3.3% upfront fee. USDA, now it's actually 2.75, so this is a bit dated. USDA now charges, I think it was as of 6 months ago, they changed from 2% to 2.75% upfront and 50 basis points monthly. Conventional is going to be cheapest way to finance if you have good credit. If you have bad credit, it's going to be one of the more expensive ways to finance. But if you have good credit, you can see anywhere from as low as 27 basis points to 1.48% monthly. But mortgage insurance has zero benefit to you as the consumer. I couldn't tell you how many times I've heard from consumers, oh, I'm not worried about that because I have mortgage insurance. Like it's something that protects them. There is no protection to you as a consumer by paying mortgage insurance. It's literally wasted money. It doesn't go towards interest. It doesn't even go towards your principal. It's wasted money. So again, just say no to mortgage insurance. Now, if there's a better way, then why doesn't the bank tell me? Number one, they don't want you to know. Think about it. They're the ones making money hand over fist. The more interest and closing costs you pay, the more they profit. So just refer to your mortgage statement as an example. A mortgage was created after 1913. 1913 is a very crucial year to understand because that's the year the Federal Reserve was created. And the Federal Reserve allowed banks to do something that's very important to understand. It's called fractional reserve lending. Fractional reserve lending is knowing that when you put $1 into your depository account, whether it's checking account, savings account, money market, CD, that bank can electronically manifest $9 out of thin air to create more loans, more interest, and more profits. So why is a mortgage important? Because after 1913, mortgages used to be open-end products. Now they're closed-end products, meaning money can only go one way. It goes in, can't go out. So knowing that, consumers had to leave money behind as an operating account to pay their other bills, utilities, expenses, etc. So where did they leave it? In the coffers of the bank. So it's a beautiful thing. The mortgage keeps you in debt longer, you pay more interest, they make more profit, but they're also making money because you're leaving money behind in their checking and savings accounts. Now, number two, the reason why you don't know and the banks haven't told you is they don't even know. I couldn't tell you how many bankers I talk to on a daily basis that have no clue that this exists. And they're institutionalized just like I was. I sold mortgages for 14 years. So about 5 or 6 years ago is when I really had an enlightened moment and I started studying this and started putting it into practice. So again, they just don't know. And if they don't know, then who's going to teach you? Let's talk about segregation of money, which I briefly did a little bit when I talked about fractional reserve lending, but it's crucial to understand that banks' primary goal is to segregate your income. And what that looks like is you've got income coming in, but you're going to have first probably going to your checking account. Then you may put some over into your savings account that you don't touch. Some is going to go towards a car loan. Now, a car loan is structured just like a student loan and just like a mortgage. It's an installment loan. It's based on an amortization schedule. It's a contract, right? A lot of these loans look very familiar for a reason. And then also a mortgage. So they're trying to, and then on top of that, you've got money market, CD accounts, etc. So you got all these different products to entice you to segregate your income. Because when your income is segregated, you cannot get what's called 100% income utilization. So again, it's all designed to segregate your income to prolong debt and increase interest paid. Now, here's a streamlined income approach. So income coming in goes into a credit card. Then it goes towards your mortgage and bills. So it's called credit card chunking. And then you just repeat. So again, you're going to be using, instead of using a checking and savings account as an operating account, you're actually going to use this credit card as your operating account. And then as it drops down to a zero balance, which I'll get to here mathematically in a little bit, once it gets down to a zero balance, you're going to take all that back out again and dump it onto your mortgage. So it's called credit card chunking, and you're chunking away at your mortgage. And we'll show you how fast it accelerates the payoff. So no checking account. And here's why. The average rate of return on a checking account in the nation is 0.17%. That's pretty crappy. So let's just call that 0% for short, so I don't have to continue to say 0.17%. 0% is pretty doggone close. So inflation in this last year, which we had a very short, a historically low inflation year. It wasn't the lowest inflation year on history, but in recent history, it's been extremely low, 1.6%. But if your savings account or your checking account rate of return doesn't keep up with inflation, then putting money in there means you're actually losing value. That's the definition of a liability. So technically, you don't want to have a checking account or a savings account at all. So what will you need? Well, one, you're going to have the right attitude and desire to perform the strategy until you're debt-free. You're going to have access to a credit card that has a limit equal to or greater than your net monthly income. Preferably a 0% interest credit card with cashback rewards. Now, it doesn't have to be a 0% credit card, because technically if you have a credit card that you pay off every month, then you don't pay any interest. But I like 0% because that means you can actually roll a balance past 30 days and still not pay interest. At last, you're going to need discipline, just like anything in life. If you want to lose, it's going to require discipline. If you want to learn, then you got to have the discipline to read a book or educate yourself. This is no different than anything else. It's a goal, and the end goal is going to require some, I wouldn't call it massive discipline, but definitely some discipline. And the solution, gradually replace your existing mortgage using a credit card. You're going to need a specific one, and I'm going to guide you in getting the proper one. Change where your cash goes. Stop giving the bank your money at 0% so they can turn around and lend it back to you at 4 and 5%. What you're going to do is you're going to dump all of your income into a credit card. And don't worry, money can go in and out of a credit card freely. You're probably already doing it. And then you're going to pay your bills out of your credit card like you would with your checking and savings account. And the remainder is going to go towards the balance, thus you pay it off fast. The corporations have been using this for decades. It's called business lines of credit. So again, they're structured just like credit cards. They're structured just like home equity lines of credit, any other type of simple interest line of credit, like a personal line of credit. So again, they've been using it to build empires because it's the cheapest way to borrow money and it's the most efficient. So let's wake up. If it's good enough for businesses, then why isn't it good enough for us homeowners? It's the fastest way to pay off your debt, using sweep accounts to funnel revenue back into the line of credit. And what I mean by that is when a business goes to get a business loan, they're not actually getting an installment loan. Typically, they get what's called a business line of credit. Now, a sweep account, what it's doing is that bank will probably educate the consumer or that business to pay everything out of the business line of credit, payroll, expenses, you name it, anything business related. But the sweep account is going to take every dollar of revenue and put it back into the line of credit. Now, I had a friend who's done this, and he paid his business off $600,000 worth in a matter of 2 years. And then he calls me and says, you know what? Hey, I paid my business. Paid my business off in 2 years, $600,000. Business is great. It's debt free. Now it's time for me to buy my dream home. So he calls me and says, I need to get a mortgage. It's like, I can't believe the light bulb hasn't gone off. You use the exact formula that I've been preaching for years to pay your business off. Why wouldn't you do that with your home? He's like, I don't understand. What do you mean? I said, a home equity line of credit or a credit card. You're using a simple interest product line of credit where it's open-ended. Money can move in and out freely. Do the exact same thing on your home. Finally, the light bulb went off, and that's what he's done. So credit cards are simple interest. It's open-ended. Money moves in and out. You get additional rewards. It's another reason why I like credit cards. In fact, a credit card behind a mortgage is faster than a HELOC behind a mortgage. Now, nothing is faster than a first lien position home equity line of credit, where all you have is a home equity line of credit. But the second fastest is this method, having a credit card behind a mortgage. Why? Because, again, it's much lower in interest than a home equity line of credit is. In fact, if you have decent credit, you're getting 0% offers. But you also get additional rewards, cash back, free merchandise, frequent flyer miles, etc. Again, low intro periods is 0%. I actually have a picture here of Chase Slate. I think Chase has a 21-month zero interest card. Now, I'm not promoting them or sponsored by them in any form or fashion. Just happen to have one and know that they're interest free for 21 months. Now, you're going to use that to pay your bills. So most bills, and when I say most, I actually have 2 bills that I cannot pay with my credit card. It's my HOA and my water bill. I live in a very small town, and for whatever reason, the water company does not accept credit cards. They'll accept anything else, even a debit card, but not a credit card. So go figure. So you might be in a situation where it might be a couple bills that you can't pay with a credit card, but as much as you possibly can, you're going to want to pay your bills with a credit card, including that mortgage. And again, 0% balance transfer. And again, most of these credit cards have that. So here's the game plan. Got your credit card, you're going to do a balance transfer to your mortgage from the credit card. And then you're going to pay your bills with the credit card. Now, savings account. I know I just said I'm not a huge fan of having a savings account, but I still want you to be massively liquid for emergencies. So it would be prudent to have at least a 3-month fund savings account. So whatever your expenses are times 3, go ahead and put that in a savings account and don't touch it. Although a credit card is liquid, you can still use it. It's not true cash, and if you were to pull cash out of a credit card, it could cost you money. So that's why I would like for you to have some cash in a savings account about 3 months. And then your income. Again, you're going to use the credit card as your checking account, which is going to pay down your balance and you're just going to repeat. So research various credit card offers and see which one makes the most sense for your lifestyle. I use creditcards.com. I also like creditgecko.com. So it's CREDIT Gecko, GECKO.com. So that's a very good one. In fact, that's a website of a nationally known credit restoration gentleman by the name of Doc Compton, who's in a law firm down in Dallas, Texas. So it's a great website to go research. He's already done a ton of the research for you, but another website would be creditcards.com, where you can sort and filter by different types of credit cards, whether it be 0% or balance transfers and rewards. So again, I'd like to see you get one that has a 0% balance transfer and 0% APR for anywhere from 12 to 21 months. Now, you also want to keep your debt utilization below 30%. So it's another reason why I'd like you to go to Credit Gecko, because you're going to learn these solutions to keep credit scores high and where they need to be. Because if you go above 30% debt utilization, then you can start to see your scores dwindle down a little bit. Now, what that means is, let's say you have a credit card with a limit of 10 grand and you go above $3,000. That's 30%. So you go above that, you're going to start to see some points come off of your credit score. So you might actually want to get a couple credit cards. Let's say 3 of them. Say you had a total limits of 30,000. Now you can use that one credit card and max it out to 10 grand. Your debt utilization is still at 30% or below. So it's something to keep an eye on. Now, we're going to go over some calculations here. And before we do, I want to go over the assumptions of what we're looking at. So the income cash flow. So let's say you got a $60,000 per year household income, and tax bracket is 15%. I'm not a CPA. I'm assuming you have some deductions. Obviously, you got mortgage deduction, things of that nature. And let's just say you fall to 15% tax bracket, which would mean you're paying $9,000 in taxes. So you got $51,000 in net cash flow per year. Now, I know what some of you are saying, well, we also have Medicare and Social Security. Okay, then just call it $65,000 a year of household income. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. So that's $4,250 per month of net cash flow. So let's go through the expenses. What do the expenses look like for a normal household? So you got $20,000 in car loans. So that's $310 a month for the next 6 years. Then you've got $1,100 mortgage per month, $300 per month in utilities, $300 a month in random additional expenses, $400 a month in groceries. I've got 3 boys, so we've easily exceed $400 a month, and if you have some boys, you know what I'm talking about. So what we're looking at is $2,410 of total expenses. Okay, so what does the math look like? So let's say you have a $10,000 credit card. Again, it's 0%, and our payoff goal is 6 months. So if you're throwing $4,250, let's just, again, assume that $10,000 is maxed out because you chunked $10,000 onto your mortgage, right? So you got $10,000 balance, you got $4,250 going in, and then you're paying $2,410 going out for additional monthly charges because you've got to pay your bills, right? So in 6 months, as you can see, in 6 months, it's back down to a 0 balance. Again, it's the beauty of using it as your operating account. We've been conditioned to think that we have to have a checking and savings account to operate. We don't. We can use productive debt, and that's what this is. It's not consumptive debt, it's productive debt. So we're using productive debt to accelerate the payoff. So here's the short view versus the long view. Short view, again, $10,000 with those scenarios, that monthly budget of $4,250 coming in and $2,410 going out. Again, you pay it off in 6 months. So what does it look like if, and they extrapolate it over 2 years? Well, you can actually pay off $43,000 worth of debt. So that's what I'm illustrating here. And over 2 years, you have $43,000 that you've chunked down onto that mortgage. So just want to make sure I'm clear here that $43,000 is taking that $10,000 credit card and paying it off over and over and over again, maxing it out by dumping it onto the mortgage. So in 2 years, you're going to be able to dump $43,000 onto the mortgage. So check this out. Here's a mortgage. You got a $180,000 loan, 4.5%. Sometimes it feels like 450%, doesn't it? On a 30-year term, that's a $912 payment. Say you've got escrows, property taxes, and insurance, which is $1,100 a month. Now, I didn't throw in any type of mortgage insurance, just to be fair and try to give a mortgage a standing chance. So as you can see here, starting at payment 6, because again, they're taking that $10,000 credit card. It's now paid off at a zero balance, and you're going to chunk another 10 grand onto it. And every 6 months, you're going to do the exact same thing. And what do you see here? You actually pay $180,000 mortgage off in 84 months, which is exactly 7 years. And how much interest are you going to pay? Well, you're going to pay $30,589 worth of interest. And what are you going to save in interest? $117,743.69. It's just math, not magic. So forgot these. Cash flow positivity is key. The more cash flow positive you are, the faster you pay off your debts. You can increase cash flow positivity by increasing income or decreasing expenses. Seems self-explanatory, right? It's called budgeting. This is where I'm a huge fan of Dave Ramsey. Go to church with Dave. I live in the same town as Dave. I think he does a phenomenal job teaching families how to be on a budget, live on less than you earn. That's key. So you bring in more money than you actually spend. So here are ways to do that. Lower your thermostat 10 degrees when you're asleep or away. That's 15% savings on utilities, or $270 a year. Now the Nest is said to save 30%, and I've checked it out. You can get one for $200 on Amazon. At 6-month intervals, find a coin sorter and deposit your change. It's possible to find $1,000 in coins per year. Me and my kids currently do this. Their pawpaw and my father gave us a huge glass jug, and when they find what they call coinies, they pick them up, save them, put them in their pocket, and we come home and we put them in the jug. Well, that jug is almost filled again with coinies, or quarters, dimes, and pennies. And at 6-month intervals, we'll take it down to the coin sorter, dump it in there, we turn our coins into cash, and guess what we do with it? We put it into our HELOC. Now, we have a HELOC, and actually we're coupling a credit card with a HELOC to put it on steroids. But in this situation, you'd put it towards your credit card. Now, if your car's engine isn't supercharged or turbocharged, you can run it on regular gas. In most engines, all premium gas does is cost you more money. So that's $4 on average per fill-up, or $350 a year. Buy a used car. Let someone else pay for the depreciation. I haven't bought a new car. How long has it been? Since 2004, I think it was. Yeah, 2004. One of the dumbest things I ever did. Bought a new car. As soon as I drive it off the lot, boom, there went 10% of the value. Over the first year, you lose 30%. So typical, keep in mind, if you want to be a millionaire, emulate millionaires. And a typical millionaire buys a 2-year-old car. So trade in for 2 cars. And if you had, that $20,000 expense that I mentioned, where you had $20,000 for your car loans, well, trade those in and get 2 cars for $5,000 each. That's only going to add up to $152 a month total, as opposed to, I forget the number was, over $300 a month. So you're going to cut that in half. Don't eat out. Take a healthy lunch to work and save. Check this out. $3,380 per year per person. I used to be notoriously bad about this prior to, I think it was 2007. I would eat out every day for lunch. Go to work, never took my lunch to work with me. When my buddies would go to lunch, I would go to lunch with them, spend $10, $15 a day on lunch, and that was just me, not including my wife. So for one person, that's $3,380 per year that you spend by going out to lunch. So not to mention, if you bring something healthy, you're going to lose weight, and you also save on healthcare. Monetize your expertise online and add tax deductions. You can sell what you know with a simple sales funnel. Look at what I'm doing. I made so many mistakes. Now I'm teaching you how to avoid the mistakes that I made. And guess what? Making money by doing so. Huge tax deductions as well. So you need to responsibly use credit cards. I cannot stress this enough. This is where you have to know yourself and know how to resist temptation and know if you have the discipline to do this. So you're going to, again, pay as many of your bills as possible on the credit card. This doesn't mean you have more bills and that you change your budget. You have the same budget. You're just paying it instead of with a checking account. You're paying it with your credit card. Many credit cards come with perks. You can earn points that can be redeemed for free merchandise, cash back, anywhere from 1% to 6%, fraud protection. So when we go to Florida a lot, we go to Destin, Florida is where we vacation. And Florida is notorious for having what's called skimmers. So a couple times, the first couple times we went down there, we were using our debit card. And then I'd say a day later, our bank would call and say, hey, we had to freeze this. We'll send you a new card, but that one's been compromised because you used it at a pump, and the pump there in Florida had a skimmer. So someone was stealing your information. Where if you have a credit card and those charges go through, well, guess what? They get reversed almost the same day. But if it's a debit card, they're not as quick to reverse those charges. Why? Because on the debit card, that was your money that the thief took. On credit, that was the bank's money that the thief took. So they have more of a sense of urgency. Imagine that, how that works. And also travel insurance. Airline tickets, flying for free, double warranties. I bought a flat screen TV, used my credit card. So when you get to the checkout counter, guess what they ask you to do? Would you like to get the upgraded and extended warranty? Absolutely not, because I'm purchasing it with my credit card, and my credit card company automatically doubles the manufacturer's warranty. So I don't have to pick that up. So I still get the warranty, but I save money. So again, it's all free money, and that free money increases cash flow positivity. So let's say you have $2,500 a month that you're putting on a credit card, and you're getting a 2.5% cashback reward. Well, that's $750 a year. But again, don't go crazy with this. Just live normally and don't spend more than you do now. Try to keep the balance of the debt or keep your debt utilization below 30%. And if you go above that, then again, you could lose points on your credit score. So increase your net paycheck. The average American's tax refund is $2,428 a year. It's a horrible way to manage taxation. Tax refund is bad. What you need to do is adjust your withholdings to get zero back. Don't pay in. I do pay in, but don't pay the government throughout the year. Because think about it. When you're getting a tax refund, that means you overspent throughout the year. So the government held on to your money for 16 months. And at the 16th month, they give it back to you with no rate of return, but yet you still had and incurred inflation. So you actually lost money. You get a negative return when you actually get a tax refund. I could tell you how many people will take a tax refund and then turn around and go pay off consumptive debt or go on a shopping spree, or they treat it like a savings account. It's horrible. Really put pen to paper and do the math, and you'll understand that getting a tax refund is a horrible, horrible thing to get. So again, adjust your withholdings so that you don't get a tax refund. That means your net paycheck will increase on average in this situation, $2,428 divided by 12 means it's $202.33 per month. Now, I've just went over all these different ways to increase cash flow positivity. So how much did we increase it? So let's count it up. The utilities was $22.50 per month. The spare change was $83 a month. Getting regular gas was $30 a month. Buying a used car is now $158 in savings per month over having the $20,000 car loans. So again, I know that driving a beat up jalopy isn't sexy, but being wealthy is very sexy. Credit card rewards, that's $62.50 a month. No tax refund means more of a net paycheck, so that's $202.33 per month. Eat in instead of out. That's $281 of savings per month, per person, I might add. So let's just keep it conservative and just go with one person. So how much is that? That's $839.33 per month of increased cash flow. So now it's going to make things look a lot different than it did before. So again, let's look at the short view. $10,000 now only takes 4 months to pay off instead of 6 months. Because all I did was I took the original expenses and I reduced it by the amount that we increased our cash flow positivity. So now your additional monthly charges is only $1,919 going out. And again, you can pay $10,000 off in 4 months. So how long does it take to chunk $43,000 onto our mortgage? Well, only 17 months as opposed to 24 months as it did before. So that's saving you 7 months to get to a $43,000 principal reduction on your mortgage. That's huge. So again, check this out. If it was only 4 months versus the 6 months, what does that look like? You've got $10,000 going towards your mortgage every 4 months. That's your credit card transfer. So your interest savings is going to be $126,449. So before that was $117, right? Now you're at 5 years of getting your home paid off as opposed to 7. So at the end of 5 years, you don't have a balance. This is what it looks like, just so you can see this in long form view. And all we're doing here is using a calculator that's free that you can download online called Vertex. So it's called chunking again. So you've got 10,000 going in on month 4, 10,000 going in on month 8, 10, month 12, etc. And you can see what your balance is doing. So in the first year, you go from 180 to 146,641. Check out year 2, 111. Massively accelerating the payoff of your mortgage. So again, just showing you all the way out to 5 years what it looks like. So you're at 4 years here, you're at 37,000, and then boom, at 5 years, you're at a zero balance. Pop the champagne. And I know what you're thinking. There aren't any credit cards at 0% for 5 years. So you're absolutely correct, and typically it's 12 to 21 months. So when the introductory offer expires, just get a new card. When is the last time that you heard that credit card companies stopped offering 0% intro? I'm 38 years old. I can't remember when. So it's been around a long time. And I can promise you this. If you're paying a credit card off as often as 4 to 6 months, you're going to get a lot more offers. In fact, they're going to offer to increase your credit limit. So again, if you pay it off every 4 months, your credit will be amazing. But don't close the previous card, because that might actually lower your scores. Because when they're computing what your credit scores are, they're also looking at the average age of your debts in your accounts. So when you do get a new card, doesn't mean go and cancel that other one and close it. In fact, that will actually help you stay below that 30% debt utilization. So again, I still know what you're thinking. You don't have that much cash flow positivity. So let's say your expenses are $1,281 a month higher than what we've used in calculator. So now you're at $3,200 of total expenses. So here you go. You got $10,000 credit card. So that means you got $4,598 coming in, because again, remember, we increased our net paycheck because of we adjusted our withholdings. So we're no longer getting a refund. We're actually using that money throughout the year for our benefit, as opposed to giving it to the government for them to use for their benefit. So you've got $3,200 coming out. So now it's going to take 8 months to pay off a $10,000 credit card, where before it was 6 months. But again, our expenses are higher. That's why budgeting is so important. So here you go, negative Nancy, $180,000 mortgage, again at 4.5%. And as you can see, you got $10,000 getting chunked away every 8 months. So you're going to save $110,000 of interest. And you're also going to get it paid off in 9 years. So I know it's not as sexy as getting it paid off in 5 or 7, but if your expenses are what they are and they're higher than what they should be at $3,200, then it's going to take you 9 years to get your home paid off. But again, that's far better than a 30. It's far better than a 15 and a 20. So what is the total interest paid? Again, when I mentioned earlier that as Americans, this is what we need to focus on, is the total picture. Don't focus on interest rate. Focus on interest paid. So the interest paid is $38,206. And you didn't have to break the bank to do so. So in conclusion, you've been conditioned to think the only way to finance debt is through closed-end loans, cars, mortgages, student loans. Why? It's a profitable business for the lenders and banks. So stop donating your income to the banks and start building your wealth and freedom. Now, we do have other courses for homeowners. So all you have to do is go to www.replaceyourmortgage.com. And we have advanced strategies using first lien home equity lines of credit instead of a mortgage. Because again, a mortgage is the least efficient, most expensive way to finance real estate. So the second fastest way is the way that I just taught you today. But the fastest way is actually a first lien position home equity line of credit. So if you'd like to know more about that, then just reach out to us. And we also teach how to build a real estate empire. Because when you pay off a home, and especially if it's on a home equity line of credit, within your borrowing costs to use that home equity line of credit again to buy other properties is nothing. But if you had a mortgage and needed to get another mortgage, we incur more closing costs and sometimes mortgage insurance. So again, a home equity line of credit is the cheapest way to re-leverage the equity in your property to buy assets. So that's the key. Buy assets, not liabilities. How to get paid to vacation. So we've also got a course to show folks how to buy a vacation home with very little money down, properly financed, and have someone else pay that off. Now, I mean someone else. That means you're Airbnb in it or VRBO in it, and you're there for 15, 20 weeks out of the year, and when you're not there, you're renting it out by the day or the week, and you get it paid off in 9 years. So literally using very little of your own money, but yet you're still getting a 30% rate of return. That's why there's so many real estate investors out there. That's why it's so enticing, because real estate investing is always going to beat the S&P 500 if you know what you're doing. So we teach folks how to get paid to vacation. And then ultimately infinite banking concepts, how to become a bank of you. You know, what I'm teaching you to do is to replace your mortgage. But what infinite banking concepts does is teaches you how to replace the bank. The average American is going to spend 34% of their lifetime earnings in interest to a bank. So retirement looks entirely different if that 34% can stay with you. So we also teach folks how to replace your bank as well and stop borrowing money from a bank. Instead, borrow and leverage against your assets. So I want to leave you with this. Things are liabilities and people are assets. In your pursuit of financial freedom, don't forget what matters most. And here's some things to remember along your journey. Give. You cannot give what you do not have. We may give without loving, but we cannot love without giving. And this was something that was, tugged on our heartstrings, my wife and I, because we went through some very difficult times in 2007, 2008 with the mortgage meltdown. Again, that's what I did for a living. I did mortgages. So when the meltdown happened, we suffered, almost lost it all. And one of the things that bothered us the most was at church, we couldn't give monetarily. We didn't have any to give. In fact, we were hoping somebody would give money to us, but we were just too proud to ask. So instead, we gave with our time and volunteering. So along your journey, you're going to come across and you're going to build this wealth. So start giving. That's going to be the most rewarding thing that you can possibly do. And share. Just as I've shared this with you to transform your life, share it with someone else and pass along this gift. Love. You cannot love too much, and it's never a bad time to show it. And when you're on your deathbed, and if you remember earlier on in this course, I mentioned that I battled life-threatening illness. This is exactly what I thought about when I'm lying on my deathbed, is I didn't show it enough. So be sure to let the people know in your life that you love. Tell them that, because you're only going to think about the times that you didn't show it enough. Faith. Life is short compared to eternity. So life is a short test for the ultimate reward, and if you're blessed, give blessings to others. Share your faith with others, because if you truly love them, then you're going to want to spend eternity with them. Well, that's it, gang. Thanks for watching the course. I hope it's been fruitful for you. Thank you. Take care, and God bless.